Well, decided to get a real Bowie. I got another cheap one coming, but I got a real KABARS, the big brother. It's got the craton handle on it, and yeah, it's 1095 stainless. It's 1095 carbon steel. Excuse me. The 1095, the 95 in the 1095. There it is. It's pretty big. Means it's 0.95% carbon. So 95/100% carbon. That's what that means. Now the KABARS, they use 1095 steel, which is good stuff. With it's called Crovan. Actually, I think it was from a manufacturer called Sharon Steel that went out of business in 1988, but they still make the stuff. I got the one that's all black. It's got the craton handle on it, and you know, it's a nice blade, but a little tough to get out of sheath. Brand new. Yeah, it's a little more like the size that you want. But I got the one with the serrated edge on the top because I like that serrated edge sometimes. Now the timber rattler is bigger than this, but it's heavier, and well, it's more. You know, I guarantee you this puppy would be stronger because 420 HC steel, which is not too bad for everyday knives. 420. That's called high carbon 420 with the HC after the end of it. That's 44/100% carbon. So you can temper it a little bit better than 420. It's not bad for, like, you know, a cheaper knife. A lot of them aren't even that. I think the Timberwolf Outlaw, whatever you call that one, Outlaw Bowie, is just 420. It's not even HC. So it's below 44/100% carbon. This is 95%, but it's also got chromium and vanadium. Now the chromium doesn't bring it up to stainless steel, but what it does do is bring it up semi-close to stainless steel. So it does have some rust-presentative attributes to it. That's one good thing. As far as the vanadium is expensive. That gives it a lot of attributes that are good. It makes it stay sharp. It makes it very tough, where it's not going to break as easy. And it has a slight amount of nickel too, a trace amount of nickel. So it's a good material. Actually, I know some people say that KABARS are expensive, but knives can get really crazy price. They got some really exotic metals out there that can get really up there. This is kind of like an all-round good quality knife, and you know, it's a proven design. It is a hell of a lot lighter than a timber rattler, and you know, it's quality. It doesn't have, I didn't get the one with the leather on it, just the craton. It just says KABAR. It doesn't say USMC or anything. It just says USA. It's all USA except for the sheath, which is what do you call it? You know, made in Mexico. But let's compare it to the timber rattler, and you'll see the difference. And this, I'm telling you, even though this is a big knife, this is way lighter, and it would hold an edge a lot better, several times more than the timber rattler. You know, Outlaw, whatever they call that one, the Outlaw Bowie, Western Outlaw Bowie. That's their brand name. That's their marketing name. But this is a more practical size, even though it's a big damn knife. This is called the big brother to the other KABAR, the regular KABAR. That's your standard fighting knife, which is really, it's kind of like not exactly 100% fighting knife. Even ones the Marine Corps uses, or kind of an all-purpose knife. It could be, it's kind of a, you can use it for a lot of different things. The top edge of it isn't sharpened. You could do that, but you really don't need to. It's got a very sharp point on it. It's sharp right out of the box. It's been well sharpened right out of the box. It's got a good finish on it, phosphate. It's not powder coated. And this, I'd imagine, this is sharp too. This serrated edge is sharp. I'm not sure how you would sharpen this. Probably some kind of fine stone or something. You'd have to go over it by hand with a fine stone. But this serrated edge is very handy, so I chose to make sure I had one of those. Okay, here's a standard size KABAR, and just put it right next to it. You could see the you know, the big brother Bowie is a hell of a lot bigger. Now this is the one from BudK, which I also have. You know, the KABAR full spec 1095 Crovan steel one, of course. This is 420 steel, real lightweight puppy. This one doesn't weigh a hell of a lot, surprisingly. It's not that super thick, but the steel on it is a hell of a lot better than what comes with something like this, the Timberwolf, what do you call that again, Western Outlaw. But this thing, with all this weight, it's more of a chopper, which can give you an idea, you know, if you want to, you know, it's a very impressive size knife. You see that, the sucker, man, it's pretty big. But it's just plain 420. I actually got another one of these coming because it was only $10. Not like this exactly. It's a little shorter than that, maybe a little lighter. Which I might. Some of these cheaper knives I like though, because first off, they're pretty impervious to water, which this is too actually. But you know, if you're a little bit afraid of screwing up your blade doing something, you want to take one of those, even though you probably would screw up the blade a lot easier because it's not the same type of material, but it's so damn thick. You don't break this sucker too easy either at all. But if you really want to swing something, this is this actually, even though it's a very large knife, it's not too big. This sucker feels pretty damn heavy in the hand. This one is huge. It really does. It does feel heavy in the hand. You know, another thing is too, some people, you know, this has a wide loop too for like your web belts, and that's what it's for. You notice like the KABAR has much more leather this way and than this. It comes with the Timberwolf, right? But you know, you're still, it's a very good value. This was like a little over $80 delivered. I think $86 delivered, which is pretty cheap, 85, something like that, which is that one. This one was a knockoff of a KABAR. I don't know what the hell I paid for my real KABAR, but the KABARs are probably the best value in a quality knife, in my opinion. This one actually has a very, very practical, you know, I guess you would call it a Bowie. It really is. It's maybe just this knife here is at least an inch longer than most Bowies. Most Bowies would be maybe up to there. Might be just a little longer than this. But the Big Brother is a good sized knife too. It's not heavy. It's not heavy. It's not heavy at all. And you can't choke up on it like this. And it is fairly impervious to the elements because it's not just plain 1095 steel. It's 1095 Crovan with a little nickel in it. So the nickel even a nickel gives it a little bit of corrosion protection, but mainly the chromium. The vanadium actually gives it a lot of good properties, except vanadium is pretty expensive, so you know, thus the cost of the knife. It's got a very good finish on it. So but you know, different purposes. Sometimes if I'm taking, you know, I want to use something like a knife like this, I would not be, you know, something happened with this knife and it got lost, or I don't know, I dropped it in the water or something, I can't find it. Well, it's a $10 knife, right? I mean, not that I want to do that anyway, but if you do that with your KABAR, you probably say, nah, I don't want to do that. So, you know, different things have different purposes. But even these knives, they work okay. But in a quality knife, I'd say the KABAR is probably one of your better values for the money. It's just like the old standard, you know. I know there's a lot of good ones out there, BudK and Cold Steel and all that, but you know, I just prefer KABAR because, you know, it's just more familiar with it. But I'm actually more familiar with rifles than knives. But this puppy is more like an axe, and I'd say the weight on this is about double the weight on this Timberwolf. What do you call it? Western Outlaw Bowie is probably good double of what this one is. That's a serious consideration. So, you know, if you're really going to get one knife, and you're probably better off going with the quality. But if you got to have a knife now and you can't afford it, don't go with the quality, right? That's the other way around. But it is good to have some of these cheap knives because you know, if you're doing something and you're afraid something might happen with the knife, you're not going to worry about it. Or if you lose it or something, you're not going to worry about it as much, right? And I don't really think you're going to break this sucker, man. You might chip the blade a little bit on something, I don't know what, but it's too damn thick. It's an axe. This one, you could still chop with it though, but you could probably swing this one a lot more. You won't get tired swinging this puppy as much as you would that one. And it would stay sharp a hell of a lot longer too. But I'm not sure what carbon content is in this one. It's 420 stainless steel, but I don't think it's 420 HC. Now the Bowie, the other Bowie I got coming from BudK was $10, the whole thing, you know, delivered, shipping, and everything. It's got AUS-6 steel, which is a little, it's got more carbon in it than 420 HC. Nowhere near like this, but still, you know, $10 is crazy value. So we're going to take a look at that. That's puppy coming up here next week. But you know, it does pay to get cheap knives too. I'll say that. If you have one knife, better off having a quality knife. But it does pay to get cheap knives too, because, you know, sometimes if you're just going camping or something, it's not like, you know, what most people do. You're afraid of screwing up your KABAR, and you want to have a KABAR, take this $10 one. I mean, it's got a use, right? I mean, say you're not really doing that much with the knife, you're not going to break it. It's still a good general purpose knife. It's really, you know, that's the way I look at it. So anyway, just kind of happy with this, because this is the only I got. You know, this is not the KABAR, it's the knockoff, but I got a KABAR like this, and I also got the 5 1/4 inch one. That's one that's shorter than this. Then I also have a hunting one, so that's all the KABARs and all the good quality knives I have. Plus I have a buffalo skinner, and I got an old timer that's made in the USA. That's a fold out knife. So those are my better quality knives, and I got some cheaper ones, because they're, you know, for the bang for the buck, they're worth it. That's the way I look at it. You know, I really look for more like value, and you could spend more than $1,000 on a knife, but I won't. If I just go quality, I just go KABAR. Like this puppy right here.